Imagine, someone offers you a game to play. The rules are pretty simple. You just spend all your money, and then your house catches on fire.
Wow, sounds like a terrible game.
Right, and even if you win, your house still burns down. You would never play that, why would you?
Yeah, absolutely not. It just guarantees your own ruin.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. Today we're looking at some research that explains why starting a war is, well, exactly like playing that terrible game.
It really is. And historically, leaders sit down to play this game all the time. They just call it, a military operation or defending their interests.
Exactly. So our mission today is to break down why taking that first step to start a war is pretty much the worst choice a leader can make.
Yeah, and the first major mistake they make is thinking the destruction stays, like, neatly on a battlefield. It never does.
Right, it spills over immediately.
Exactly. Modern conflict immediately hits cities where regular people live. It creates these massive refugee crises and leaves deep psychological trauma.
And that trauma affects people and their kids for decades. It's like spending your entire life savings just to burn down your own neighborhood.
That is a really good way to put it.
Yeah, because you're throwing away all these resources that could have built schools or hospitals.
Right, and economists actually call that idea opportunity cost. It's a simple mechanism, really.
Yeah.
Every single dollar you spend on a tank is a dollar permanently taken away from healthcare.
Or education, right? You're sacrificing the future.
Yeah, exactly. You sacrifice future progress to buy weapons. But the economic damage goes way beyond just the two countries fighting.
Right. The sources highlight how conflict shatters the whole global economy. But how does a local border fight actually make groceries more expensive for someone thousands of miles away?
Well, it comes down to global shipping. It's actually really fragile. When violence erupts near trade routes, insurance companies panic.
Oh, so they raise their prices.
Yeah, they instantly raise the price to insure cargo ships, or they just stop covering them entirely.
Wow, so that sudden freeze in transportation is how a local dispute instantly doubles the price of grain on the other side of the world.
Exactly. And ultimately, that hits the poorest people across the globe the hardest.
So if a war guarantees this kind of global economic disaster, why do leaders convince themselves it's a good idea?
Well, usually they gamble on a really fast victory.
But let me challenge that. Don't history books always talk about short, decisive victories? Is the fast win completely a myth?
It is a really seductive idea, but military history is basically a graveyard of short wins that mutated into forever wars.
Oh, forever wars. Because of the uncertainty, right?
Yeah, they ignore the uncertainty factor.
Yeah.
War is incredibly complex. The first shot is fired, unpredictable variables just multiply.
Like the weather changing or allies hesitating.
Right, or the enemy fights way harder than you expected. So your initial plan becomes completely obsolete within hours, and the attacking leader loses control of the timeline.
And they lose control of the global narrative, too. When a country starts an unprovoked war, the whole international community usually teams up against them.
Yeah, they freeze bank accounts and cut off trade.
Which destroys their soft power, right? Their ability to share culture and influence the world through diplomacy.
Exactly. That loss of soft power leaves the attacking nation totally isolated. It really brings to mind that quote from the sources from Bertrand Russell.
Oh, right. War does not determine who is right, only who is left.
Yeah, and what is left behind is usually deeply damaged. The sources talk a lot about generational resentment.
Which is more than just people being angry, right? It's a psychological mechanism.
Right. When you destroy someone's home and humiliate their community, you create this culture focused entirely on revenge.
So today's defeated population just becomes tomorrow's fighters.
Exactly. You aren't solving a security problem, you're just delaying it. And you're making the next fight much worse.
Not to mention, the environment is left completely poisoned by chemicals and military pollution.
Yeah, the physical and psychological damage is just huge.
The text also includes this interesting moral perspective. It points to a warning from the Quran.
Oh, right. It says that even when tensions exist, believers shouldn't let hatred drive them to start unnecessary violence or commit injustice.
Exactly. So leaders might sell a war as a quick fix, but it always creates 10 new problems that are harder to solve.
Yeah, it's an illusion of control that just ends in long-term destruction for everyone involved.
So starting a war really is a gamble where the house always loses. Which brings us back to you listening to this.
Yeah, think about what this means for all of us.
Right. If history proves that starting a war always backfires and destroys both sides over time, here is something to think about. How can ordinary citizens push their leaders to make peace building look as heroic and important as military strength?